Hey everybody, this is Applicabledave. We're here with Joe Knoll here in San Jose, California, in his workshop. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, my name's Joe. I'm a professional prop maker. I've been doing this for roughly about 2 years now. I specialize mostly in original designs, but I do everything from video game related props to manga, anime, all that kind of stuff. Basically, if you want it made, I'll do everything I can to see if I can get it made. That's my thing.
That's pretty awesome. And so you said you've been doing this for how long?
I actually started doing this mid 2011, like right after 2011 Fanime, and I basically just kind of grew and grew and grew from there. Every single day I make a new prop, I make new stuff all the time, and practice and practice. I've been doing this roughly, actually, now that I think about it, 2.5 years, yeah.
That's pretty crazy. So what got you started about doing this?
Well, basically, the story begins with, it was getting close to being SAC Anime 2011 down in Sacramento, and a friend of mine asked if I could make a Marshall Lee's base for her from Adventure Time, and I said, yeah, sure, I guess. And she's like, all right, how much would that cost? And I'm like, what? I being the genius that I am, didn't really think I should charge anything, but I said like 50 bucks. So I managed to put that together in about a night. I used foam board, MDF, and a spare fence post that I had lying around, and some piano wire. And it turned out really good, actually. And then after that, she started talking to a bunch of her friends, and next thing I knew, I was getting commissions and more stuff, and it basically all just kind of snowballed from there.
That's pretty cool. So obviously she was pretty happy with what you...
She was, actually. She really liked it. Unfortunately, I had to hold the neck of the axe on with hot glue because I had a freaking knight, and I didn't have any epoxy, but otherwise it turned out good. The neck came off, so not that good, but we were able to super glue it and epoxy it back into place, and it looked great, and it actually outlasted the rest of the guitar.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So as far as your clientele, tell us about like the revenue, or not so much the money, but the amount of customers you usually get.
You know, in all honesty, I actually get a lot more prospects than I do legitimate customers. Like, I'll have people approach me for, hey, dude, how much would it be for this entire armor set? Or, hey, can you make this sword from this series? Or, oh, dude, could I get, like, a staff or whatever from this series? I actually get more inquiries than I actually do serious commission requests. But I've done a few commissions for quite a few people. I'd say right now I'm at roughly my 45th or 50th commission so far since I've been doing this, and it's going okay. The thing I like about this most is that it presents me with a new challenge pretty much every time I want to make something that I'm not super familiar with, so I keep pushing myself harder and harder, but it's really freaking hard because I love doing original work that just comes from here. But yeah, I get a pretty decent amount of requests. Like, just on my Facebook page, almost every day I have no less than like 8 or 9 requests.
That's pretty crazy. So as far as the commissions that you do, how long does it usually take for you to actually build something? Or do they give you a certain time, or do you ask them? How does that work?
Sometimes, well, you know, that's actually kind of an interesting question, because it can be anything from I'll have like a week to make it and they'll pay me X amount of money, or I'll have like a year and a half to make it and I'll get also whatever. Basically, how it works is this. How I'm going to charge you for a commission is based upon 5 things. 1, when you want it done, how light you want it, how durable you want it, what you want it made out of, and when you want it by. Okay? So then we drop a contract. I say I'll have this ready by this time, made out of this, and blah 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 blah. And in all honesty, it can be anything from a week to half a year. It depends entirely upon the complexity and detail that you want in the prop and what you want from the prop. So that's it.
That's pretty amazing. Can you tell us just a glimpse of how you came to learn how to do all this stuff? Because I look at your stuff and it's pretty amazing. I cannot picture myself doing half of the stuff you do. Well,
thank you, first off. Believe it or not, I actually started off doing this because of a video I saw on YouTube. It was Indie Mogul's video, their sci-fi armor that they made out of EVA foam, and I saw that, and I'm like, dude, holy crap, that's awesome as hell. I totally want to figure out a way to do that. And so I watched the video a couple times, and I memorized what the processes were, what the steps they took were, and I got all the materials from a local store called Harbor Freight. And I came back home and I tried it, and it worked out relatively well. I emphasize the relatively. It was actually the first thing I ever made out of EVA foam, so obviously it's no Rembrandt. But it came out pretty decent. I made a paintball vest that was Umbrella Corporation themed, and it all kind of just snowballed from there. And now I still work primarily with EVA foam. I do a little bit of casting, and I do a little bit of work with thermoplastics, but it's all pretty much primarily EVA foam. As I said, my first EVA foam props were actually really rudimentary. They were really, really simple. They didn't have a lot of sealing to them or detail to them or anything. I basically just tried to kind of work on that. And the most recent example of my work that I have is actually something that I ended up making with no template, completely out of scratch, just kind of eyeballed it. I made it somehow in one night. I managed to seal it and do a base coat of paint all in one night. And it is this. This is actually a helmet that I made that I'm calling my Wasteland Hunter helmet. Surprisingly enough, the biggest difficulty with this helmet, believe it or not, was making this top piece right here where the mohawk is and getting everything onto this main plate. Now, when I say I made this entire helmet, that's not actually fully accurate, simply because of the fact that I had made this mask and this piece with the mask and the lenses and everything, and this, before I built everything else onto it. So I had the mask, and I basically just took a 2-inch wide piece of foam and I laid it back right here, and then I took a bigger band of foam and I attached it right here down on the cheeks, and it goes all the way around right there. And believe it or not, that's actually basically it. And once I built onto that, I just filled it in with different shapes of foam. Then I put on different plates, and that's basically it. I then used a Plasti-Dip spray, kind of like a rubber spray coating, to seal the entire thing. Used a dark metallic paint to go over it as my base paint. And yeah, just started weathering and detailing and rusting and all that kind of crap from there. That's it. And it fits like a glove. There you go. It actually works pretty well. So basically, another piece that I made is actually this forearm guard. While I predominantly work with EVA foam, I actually tend to dabble a little bit in another material that is called Sintro, which is a thermoplastic. It's actually a expanded polystyrene foam, basically really, 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 really dense styrofoam. And yeah, I took these 6 plates and I riveted them all together with aluminum snap rivets, and I just, you know, did a base coat of a metallic black, then I did a gunmetal silver and a bright silver over that, and I went to town carving all the little cracks and details and bullet impact marks in it and stuff like that, just with a regular X-Acto knife. I actually, this symbol right up here, I ended up covering this in masking tape. I drew this symbol out freehand with a ballpoint pen. I cut it out, spray painted over it, made a little stencil, peeled it off, then weathered it and scratched it up a bit. It's actually super, it's super simple. The thing that I like most about this gauntlet is that it's light. It weighs nothing, okay? So it's very easy to make. It's very, very simple to make. And I kind of basically wanted to just make it look like this is something that had seen some really difficult, trying times. Like, he has seen some okay? And yeah, I mounted it with more snap rivets onto a former wrist brace of mine, and that's it.
Well, that's it, guys. It was super awesome to meet Joe here and check out all of his stuff. Joe, one last thing before we go. If you could give one advice to somebody who wants to do exactly what you're doing, what would it be?
In all honesty, if you want to get really good at this kind of stuff, the best thing I can advise is work at it day after day after day after day. Make piece after piece after piece, whether it's from a reference picture, whether it's from your mind. Just make something every day. Constantly research, constantly experiment. That's the best way to get into doing this and getting better. Because if you don't just constantly keep making and creating and forcing yourself to sort of expand a little bit, you're gonna, sort of stagnate and stay in one area and not get a lot done. And that's super lame sauce. So don't do that.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for giving the time out to show everybody what you do, and thanks again for your time. And nice. We'll catch you guys later. I'll leave the links down below, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye bye.
Subscribe.